I want to make a video because, uh, as you know, this is going to be about multiracial um, identity and heritage. Is the reason why I'm bringing this up because I've been talking about my background a lot, and I've dealt with people who come in here trying to tell me how to identify, which is against my civil right and my individual rights. And it's so funny, they're multi-generational mix themselves, but they want to deny some other roots. They don't want to acknowledge, but they want me to get mad at me to acknowledge all my roots. As you know, I'm a multi-generational mixed race man, African American, Native American. One of the tribes I know, especially on my dad's side, is Choctaw, and some unknown tribes with that one drop from blood quarter mess, and French French Creole and English, and the French and the English is white. So, um, and I'm very proud of being a multiracial person. I do not want to be pure any other races, pure white, pure black, pure Native American. Okay, as you know, people say that all blacks come in different shades. That's a lie. People, the Africans that came on shit was much more darker than me, and I'm caramel skin. Okay, but even if I was dark skinned, I'll still acknowledge my roots. Favorite, one of my role models, who's dark skinned, and he's mixed with Asian, which is he's Chinese and Afro Jamaican and Hispanic Panamanian is Tyson Belford. And I'm glad he acknowledged who he is, and he don't pass as a pure black person, even though he look more pure black, but he got Asian eyes. And I'm making fun of Asian people, he do have Asian eyes. Okay, and he, like he was telling Charlie Cone on the View, that he was Chinese too. Okay, so let me talk about this. If you're a multi-generational mixed race person, meaning that you share a mixed ancestor, mixed grandparent, or mixed parent heritage, meaning that you share more than one generation, of that mixed background. It can be an ancestor, it can be a grandparent, or it can be a parent that's multiracial. And that's many of us are. People will say, well, multiracial means one parent of an opposite race and who's monoracial, which is pure race, and the opposite is another monoracial race. And that's not true. It is partial true, but that's not 100% true because when that mixed person has children, whoever they have children with, the children are still mixed because they have a mixed background. Okay, without that, you know what I'm saying? So when their children have children, they still mixed. When their children have children, they're still mixed. No matter who they have children with, okay, they still relate to one of those different races. And that's exactly that. Many people, especially in the African American community, are racially mixed. That's why we come in different shades. We're not pure black. The notion of reason why we was classified as pure black and one period of time, still to this day, it is unconstitutional. It's because back in the day, there was during slavery, before the law became really official law. Like Virginia was the first state to have a law about a slave, a person who was mixed race. If their mother was a slave, they was a slave too, and that was the one drop rule. The one drop rule means if you have any African ancestry, you're 100% black, even if you don't look black or don't even look 100% black. Like I look more black, but I don't look 100% because I'm not dark brown skin. So that's what that notion come in, and that was used to oppress, to make more slaves. That's why there was more rampant race mixing, whether it was rape or consensual sex between the slave woman who was either a pure black woman or a multiracial woman who's partially black and a white slave master. And that was to keep more slaves on the plantation. After slavery, there was more. It became official law during Jim Crow because they was afraid of all that race mixing that happened. Many people who had, because there were mulattoes who did look white and pass as white and marry in the white population. The white society was scared of that. The white race society was scared of that happening because, for example, you see in Latin America, you see the Caribbean, you see that was going on. Okay, for example, a lot of Latinos are even when nobody come on my channel because I will block you. There are many Latinos are Afro-mestizo, no matter what they look like. Okay, so they didn't want that to happen because in the Americas, the whole Americas, because the United States is like a little small country compared to all the countries in America, both North and South America. Okay, And in the Caribbean, Latin America, they was afraid it was going to happen. So they stopped. They had to discriminate. Jim Crow laws. They did not want people of African American heritage to be part of society. Okay, protect their white blood. So that's the reason they had the anti-race mixing laws and all that stuff. So in 1967, when the interracial couple, a woman who was African American and the American, Mrs. Lovett, Miss Loving, excuse me, and her husband, Mr. Loving, who's white, had got married outside of Virginia. They was residents of Virginia. They got married, I think, in Washington D.C. because I saw the movie with Leah Shaw back in the 90s. And when they came back, because she was considered black, so the one drop rule, they was arrested. And when they got out of, they ran from the law, and they went to Washington D.C. And this is when during the civil rights movement, and they written a letter to the Supreme Court to change the laws. When they when they went to the Supreme Court, they won, and that's when the anti-interracial marriage laws were forbidden. Anybody can marry any race they want to, and that's when the one drop rule was found unconstitutional. So even though during the civil rights movement, there was a black nationalist movement in black nationalism who were believe in separation. Anybody that classified as black to be separate from white people and other races, mainly white people, and they want to have the same lands like in that type of mass. And I don't believe in that. And they want so they believe that they actually praised the one drop. When Malcolm X was one of them who praised the one drop rule, and they wanted one drop rule. It was like, well, they was proud of their black, which is okay to be proud. I'm not saying to not be proud of your black roots, but if you're not pure black, you're not pure black. But they was claiming this pure black identity, and that's when you see many of those people who do classify themselves as black come in different shades, hair textures, don't even know look black and whatever. So during the 70s and late 60s and 70s, there's a multiracial movement. The movement that I in that I defend and also believe in. It was people of interracial parents who did not like the fact, especially those who are there was no multiracial categories, and there was the one that had some stupid rule called the father side. And one period I read in biracial about being biracial in the book, they said that they had to stop this father side race thing if you're mixed race, because it was women who was having children out of wedlock, and they could not they didn't know who the father was, or the father was not on the birth certificate. Okay, so they had to list it as the mother side, that type mess. Okay, well, if there was a black person, it was. I mean, I heard cases there were people who was partially black, part white, and who was listed as white. Yes, for real. There's one person who was telling me that back in the day on Yahoo. And but so many people, especially the white parents, especially the mothers, and also some of the white fathers who had partial black children, was upset about that because they said, "Well, excuse me, I'm part of them as well. They're not 100% black." So during and mixed race people started to get involved in this movement as well. In the 90s, where I grew up in my teenage years, the multiracial movement was getting big, especially when all these celebrities like Mariah Carey, Shamar Moore, Tyson Beverly mentioned earlier, Tiger Woods, um, started getting into the multiracial movement. They started identifying as multiracial. And Mariah Carey is part Hispanic, which is Venezuelan, and African American on her father's side, and her mother is Irish American. And you had Shamar Moore's part white and part black. You had one particular person that I like her beauty, but I can't stand her too much. Is Holly Berry, because she classifies herself as black, and her white mother, taught her that. Okay, it's kind of shocking. Anyway, so in Chelsea Smith, who won Miss USA in '94, and also won Miss Universe. She's from Texas. Um, she was the first person to have African roots to win Miss Texas, and she told people back in '94 that I'm not a pure black person. I am both black and white. I'm biracial. That's what she said. And I was so happy. And also, she's one. I talked to her on social media sometimes. Okay, she said I look glad she won, and she told people that she's multiracial, not pure black. And so the movie started to get big. And here comes the story. This is where I grew up. This is how I learned about my identity, because I started running my roots. If it wasn't for the movie Queen that Halle Berry played in, Eric Haley, paternal grandmother, who was partially black and Native American and white. Because remember, if you've seen the movie Queen, um, what's her name? Jasmine Guy, who's also multiracial. She's part white and part black. She played a part Native American, part black woman. In the movie, she mentioned her mother was Cherokee. And, and so I started to realize, I said, well, because I already was told that I was just black and Native American, but I found out I was mixed with white as well. I was told about the French side, but I didn't pay too much on my grandfather's side, and I was raised on that mom's side of the family. So when I did research on I got to know who was my background. I was 13 years old back in '93, going on 14 years old, and I found that I was also mixed with white as well, through on both my parents' side. So I found out that I was on both, it's also Native American side on my mom's side as well. So that's when I realized that that was a multiracial person. I already knew, but just realized I had to find it for it. I can't say something and don't have the evidence for it. So, and actually finding out even there's records of both on my mom's side and my dad's side, my ancestors in the 1920 census is listed as mulatto. So, when I started getting involved, I mean, I didn't actually do like the actual work, but in a spiritual sense, I was involved with the movement. I also was glad that Oprah was taking sides. She's also multiracial as well, doing her DNA test. She was taking sides with Tiger Woods when he said back in '97, during my junior year of high school, spring 1997, that he was multiracial combination. I mean, she was black, white, Asian, and Native American. And people started attacking him. And she mentioned that the Voting Jar Rule was no longer a law. And that's when civil rights groups, both African American, Hispanic, Asian, and American, started to attack the multiracial movement. Because remember, there was a march in '96, a solidarity march, multiracial solidarity march in July 1996, which will be 20 years of it next year. And they went to Washington and marched for this multiracial category. I was so happy. And even when I took the ACT test and SAT test, I checked other. The ACT test had multiracial. I checked multiracial. And so that's when they protest. They said it'll cause racial division, some stupid. They'll lose numbers, and that's when the Census Bureau decided to allow all Americans to check any box, more one box, more that apply. So in 2000 I checked African American, white, and Native American. And then I didn't check the 2010 box, but when I moved to my apartment, the Census Bureau gave me a form to fill out in 2012, and I checked black, white, and American. And on jobs, I do check black, white, and American. I check two races or more, which is just another multiracial category. I check others sometimes. But if they don't give me a choice, I don't check nothing at all. You don't want it means you don't give me a chance to tell me who I really am, not about what people see me as, which is very stupid and ignorant. Then so that's my story. So let me go ahead and talk about some of my multi-generational people who are actually mixed, who's struggling with their identity, who's struggling with the part that they don't get treated. They get treated with like trash from people. I'm gonna cuss in this video because it's very educational. They get treated like trash from people who don't like the fact they claim their multiracial heritage. And it's sad that you tell the truth about who you really are. People associate. Well, I mean, I'm not the perfect Catholic Christian in the world, but I know my Savior Jesus Christ, when He told people He was the Son of God and He was God, people crucified Him for telling the truth. So that happens. Okay, I use that, and it comes in my head when people do that. So, well, they did it to Jesus, they'll do it to me. And He said that people hate you. I mean, real. I mean, but on the gospel. So if you tell them the truth about who you are, people are going to persecute you for it. Trust me. And I know that. So this is what I have to talk about. If people do not accept you as a multiracial person because the way you look, culture's trash, because I can adopt an Asian child, and then because I'm raised in the Asian culture, make him not Asian. Get my point? In African American culture, it's not African culture. We speak English, and then you hear no African talking about eating soul food. That came from Anglicization. You know what I'm saying? Being similar to Anglo culture, white Anglo American culture. But if anybody doesn't accept you for who you really are, and then you say your so-called friend, which is a friend of me, kick them out. I'll kick them out. Even your relatives, if they don't accept you for who you are, kick them out. Don't talk to them. Don't associate with them because they trying to put illusion on you, and they don't want to mistreat you. a friend does not mistreat you. That's a true friend who does not mistreat you. A friend tell you for who you really are, not about what people think you are or what wants you to be. You know what I'm saying? If you have a mixed background, you have a right to protest against people who does not want to acknowledge that. And you actually have a right to sue. I talked to a lawyer back 2 years ago, and a lawyer told me that since the Census Bureau allow people to check more than one box, every government, local, state agency has to go along with that. They cannot sit here and make you force you to deny your roots. You can actually sue them for that. Okay. Um, and so that's what I mean. If I will get my lawyers involved in a lot of things I've been through by my multiple identity, and people don't want to acknowledge it. I don't mind getting some paychecks. You don't go that far. We want to keep your money. Don't do it to me. All right. So that is one thing I want to acknowledge. And if people come to you saying, "Well, your parents are, for example, those African American, your parents, which is not pure African American, they're part white and they're American as well, because they have white and the American DNA." If they say that to you, well, both your parents are black. Well, excuse me, they're not pure black. Because if they have mixed background, which is that's how they got here, they would not be here if there was no mixing going wrong. I was interested. They didn't have straight up black heritage. That's which is true. If they are 100% black, they don't have no white person in their family, or no Native American, or some Mexican. Well, I'm hearing some African Americans here in Texas. They got Mexican background here too. Okay, or some Puerto Rican, which is another Hispanic group. It mixes as well, or Asian. Okay, they don't have that in their geology. Okay, they 100% black. Those Africans who come here, those are pure blacks. But the African Americans are not. Cocoa African Americans, well, I say cocoa, not pure black, are not pure black because they have white in their American ancestry. So they are part white and part Native American. If those three components not come together, their parents will not be here. My parents will not be here. Do y'all get that logic? Okay, and so just like it's wrong to pass for white, it's also wrong to pass for black. I'm gonna say it like it is. You can't knock Sarah Jane down on Imitation Life when you do the doggone same thing. Okay? You passing for black, no matter what your shade is. If you dark skin, you mix with something, you're passing, and you say you're pure black, you're passing for black. And I refuse to pass. Okay? Um, so I tell the truth who I really am. And if folks don't like it, I shake them off. I don't fool with them. I disassociate with them. You got to do the same thing. There's no wrong. Hey, you might be alone, but I'm going to let you know when you're alone, it's peace. It's not drama. When you're with those people, it's drama. So if you want drama, continuation of drama, which I don't go along with, it's time to wake up and say, hey, you want drama? I can't save you. Okay? But if you don't want drama and you want to be around people who respect you for who you really are, then you need to kick them out of your life. And even if it's a blood relative, hey, they can't accept who they really are. They want to go along with the society. I want to tell people, if society, you have to be your own person. Because I'm an individualistic person. If society say smoke crack, do drugs, get drunk every night is okay, and you end up dead getting drunk and doing drugs, will you do the same thing just because society say so? You have to have your own mind. I mean, it's okay. Well, the good things is not bad to go along with society, but when it's negative things, it is. And lying, it is negative. So you want to lie about who you are because society says so, then you're not your own person, and you are not being honest. Because I be honest about who I really am, not about what society sees me as. Okay. Um, that's one thing. Also, too, I love this poem. It's and she's a multiracial person as well. I read some of her books, not all of it, but I read some of her books. Let me go to Google right now. Okay, this whole slow thing gets on my nerves. Just give me a second, y'all. Bill of Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights for mixed people, right? Racially mixed people. There we go. Oh, it's slow. Sometimes it's cursor gets on my nerves. It's mouse. It's mouse pad, touchpad, whatever you want to call it. Okay, can we get to the, come on, go down. Her name is Dr. Maria P.B. Root. She is mixed with Spanish, Filipino, I think some other Asian, I think Chinese, and some white background. And she's been writing books. She's also a psychologist, one of those doctor majors, we want to call it. And she wrote books about being multiracial. And here is her. This is for those who are racially mixed like ourselves to know this. And this is the reason I'm a fighter about multiracial roots. I have some read the Bill of Rights for racially mixed people. I have the right to not to justify my existence in the world, not to keep the races separate within me, not to be responsible for the people's discomfort of my physical ambiguity, not to justify my ethnic legitimacy. Sorry, legitimacy. Okay. I have the right to identify myself different from the strangers expect me to identify myself different from my parents identified me, yeah. To identify myself different from my brothers and sisters, to identify myself different from different situations, excuse me. I have the right to create a vocabulary to communicate being multiracial, to change my identity from over my lifetime and more than once, to have loyalties and identify more than one group of people, and here's the last one, to freely choose whom I befriend and love. Okay, so you need to keep that. I used to you say it to myself, um, and that's exactly that. As you say, different from how people identify me as. That's as a teenager. That came in my head. I copied it one time, and I read it to myself, and I said, "This is a person speaking exactly how I speak." So, multiracial people, especially those in African, but those who are not African heritage, who have multiracial, generational heritage. If you look like a white person, you mix with Native American, you're still part Native American, part white, or you're part Hispanic and mixed with some other, part Asian. And say he was mistreat you before mentioning your mixed background. Don't be friends with these. Please don't. I mean, when people come on my channel and start dissing me for playing my multiracial, I block them. I block them and I spam them. So when they get in trouble for on YouTube putting that type of spam on my channel. Okay, you don't need to be around these people. These are enemies, and I don't believe in the theory of frenemies. If you're gonna be a friend and try to be an enemy, you're no friend of mine. Okay, this is the reason why they have a problem. It is comforting for you claiming your roots, your heritage, because they don't like the fact they want to put a post. And that's one thing is that I want to mention in my video. The African American identity, the black identity, came from white people. It didn't come from African American, African enslaved and mixed race people. Okay, the one drop rule I'm talking about. The one drop rule did not come from no African slave. It came from a white racist person who wanted to oppress anybody with African DNA. Okay, I'm letting you know that. Okay, so why would I take a white racist designation that's opposed to me to oppress me? That's the reason why I was telling some mixed race, multiracial person who identifies as white, who has a Hispanic background, who dissed me about the White Appreciation Day video. Okay, he talking about he just white, he got Hispanic roots. I said, no, you're not. You're mixed. Just like you don't like the fact I say I don't say I'm pure black, which I'm not pure black. I'm telling that. Because telling doggone truth, there's no reason for me there's no reason for you to lie about who you are either. But if you want to get mad about me telling the truth, there's one thing I tell you, you're gonna find this out. But let me go back to what I'm trying to say. Point is, what I was trying to say. Well, yeah, they don't. Well, let's go ahead and change such right here. Folks like that is mean that a person like that does not appreciate who they really are. They're denying who their roots, and the reason why he's denying the person who dissing me, deny who his Hispanic roots. Hispanic is a racially mixed category. That person is ashamed of being mixed with something else that's not what they claim to be. Okay, they want to say we're ashamed. How are we ashamed when they say we are mixed with all these different races, including the race y'all want to pose on us? But race identity want to pose on us, one drop mess. Okay, but we don't deny who we are, but y'all want to deny who you are, and you want to get mad when we refuse to go along the same line, the same path you going. That's exactly, once again, it's the people who are miserable, who is miserable, and they wants company. You know what I'm saying? Misery loves company. Okay, misery people want to beg to be your friend, want to beg to be around you, so they can give you hell. Something that comes, but exactly what it is. Okay, they don't like the fact what you have. Would you have about yourself? Would you have materialistic stuff? Whatever. They don't like the facts, so they'll take on you. And when you just friend them and just separate yourself from them, they get upset about it. They get angry. They still try to be your friend. It's a trick. Trust me, I've been in this situation before. It's a trick to give you hell again. Okay, and that's exactly that. I refuse to go that path. So when I block, I have to block this man. Okay, and when I blocked him, it was spam because I don't want that in my doggone videos. Okay, and if you don't like the fact that I claim my true multiracial identity, don't come to my channel because I don't want to be around people like you. You don't know. I don't think the artists are the ones on my side. I don't know people who are not on my side. Okay, or not on our side, should I say? So you have to do the same doggone thing. Okay, they don't like the fact that you claim your mixed hair, but yeah, they got something in them they don't want nobody to know about, and they want to hide it. They want you to go the same path. You know what I'm saying? Misery loves company. Okay? And besides the false monoracial people you're going to deal with, you're going to deal with some monoracial people who do have, if they are known as the first generation. Now, if you have a quote-unquote black parent, quote, I say, because they're not pure black, your behind is not 100%. Your parent mean your home. You're not a first generation person. Okay? So, you're not first generation, but these people claim to be first generation. The point is they want to steal the spotlight. And it says sharing it because we all mixed. There's no regards so-called degrees because I don't believe in blood quantities and all that other stuff. If you have mixed background, you're mixed. That's all. It don't matter. Okay. And they don't want to have that. They want to use a caste system. And I'm going to use Mexico, for example. In Nueva España, which is New Spain, Mexico, before it became independent from Spain, they had a caste system. And in that caste system, they had, that's why I made the Afro-mestizos and stuff in here. We had the Spaniards who were born in Spain on top. Second was the first Spaniards who were born in Mexico called the Criollos. Not the Creole, French Creoles, a different story. That's in Louisiana. Then you had the mixed race people, mestizos, mulattoes, lobos, which is Native American and African. You had those mixed in between called albinos, all that stuff. They were Afro-mestizos and stuff. Or they were mestizos who married a Spaniard, or, whatever. Okay? And then you had the Africans, who Afro-Mexicans and indigenous Mexicans, Native Americans, on the bottom. And so the reason why that the French and the Spanish colonies had caste system because well how much white DNA and much blood you had in you in that classification, you was given civil rights. So I don't believe in that degree stuff mess. I do believe if you have mixed background, that's who you are. Because it wasn't for those races, those ethnicities that come in you, you would not be here. Let's be honest, okay? And we'll have society see you. Society is ignorant. Society is ignorant. And you have to learn that. I learned that a long time ago. You can't kiss up to society's behind all the time. You gotta be your own person, okay? And you get persecuted, like I said, the person that died on the cross was persecuted for telling the truth who he really was. I'm not trying to preach. Anybody that's not Christian, I'm not trying to preach, okay? But you know who that was. Okay? So if he got mistreated, and he's God, Jesus Christ is, he got mistreated for telling the truth, that lets you know you're gonna get mistreated for telling the truth. Okay? Yeah, there are people who do evil things who get mistreated too. Let's get that straight, because there's people out there claiming they know some truth and they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? But in this situation, we're telling the truth about who we really are, not about what society wants to see us as. So they see us as this situation because they want to oppress the ideology of telling somebody that pure black is on their level is to oppress. It's not to help you. I mean, you know that. Down to they think black is low. They think we think the same way. No, we don't. We don't. Okay? Those who identify as multiracial mix, and we don't think black is low. But those folks do. And they don't like the fact that since somebody don't look too ambiguous, or if they do look ambiguous, and they have mixed ancestry, and their parents has mixed ancestry, and they both mix with some black DNA, but they're not pure black, but they look as black in society, they don't have you leaving their downfall destination because they were designated for you to be oppressed. That's exactly what it was. Okay, the one drive rule was not to help nobody or black roots. It was to oppress, to hurt, to do whatever all the evil things, human things they want to do to you. Okay, that was made defined by white racist people. Let's get it straight. It was not defined by black nationalists. They didn't have no black nationalists back in the day. Okay, so the origin of it was racist. So when these people tell you, and mixed race people who claim to be first racial mix, tell you you're not mixed, they have a racist ideology in their head too. They want to harass you, which you can get them behind locked up in jail. If they want to harass you on the end, whatever, you have a right to put them behind in jail. Please do. Okay? If they want a tall, loud mess, you can block them. Okay? The one is they want to feel so special by, they say, well, of course I feel special, have a mixed background because society tells me that it's wrong to have a mixed background. Get my point? But I don't think I'm better than nobody because the only person better is God. You know what I'm saying? But if he feels so special, if someone does not fit that category in their own stupid mindset, they're gonna do everything you want to do. And they can get in jail. They do a lot if they do all this stuff to you, you can go to jail for this, they can go to jail. They can go straight to jail. It's stupid to do some stupid illegal stuff to you. You know what I'm saying? They will go to jail. Trust me, I'm a snitch. So they have, what I'm saying? So there will be a snitch too. Okay? So I'm just letting you know. And these people who come out and block them on social media, block them wherever you can, and they put spam on your video, on YouTube, you have a right to block them. You have a right to snitch them to Google and YouTube to get their account closed. Okay? They want to do all this stuff, but they can't keep their mouth shut. They can't, you know what I'm saying? So they have a racist ideology themselves, and that's one thing when they don't talk like a caste system type of vocabulary. Then because remember the Afro-mestizos and mulattoes and mestizos was in the middle of the caste system. They were treated worse, but the Africans and the indigenous in Mexico and Nueva España was treated like trash. And still today, those who look more African or look more indigenous in Mexico are treated like trash to this day, even though Mexico is independent from Spain. Okay, so I'm just saying, when people don't accept you for who you really are, then too, stop making the notion that white people have right to make the rules in your life. And I'm not trying to sound anti-white. I have to deal with people. I deal with people that curse them out. Okay, I know I'm right for doing that. I don't play when it comes to my roots. Okay, I'm like a pit bull. You take that bull away, you attack it. And I'm also a lion. I'm a Leo. All right, go back to what I'm saying. There are people who say, well, white people see you as black. White people are not God. And if any white person does not respect you for a multiracial person, first of all, respect you as a human being, then as a multiracial person. They don't respect you for that, you need to kick them out to the curb. Don't make no rainbow correlation with that type of person. And they're not all white because I mean white people who say they're multiracial heritage and just me. I respect them, they respect me. But those who didn't, I had to kick them to the curb. So the same thing you deal with those of color who don't respect you as a multiracial person. You gotta keep those over white as well. You gotta be equal. You can't show no favoritism to nobody. Okay? So I'm just letting you know, you need to kick folks out of your life. They're not your friends. And they think being black is low anyway. Look at the tone and voice, how they talk about people who are black. So the stereotypes they bring up, all of those stuff, you gotta look at all in detail. And this is a red name right there. That's how it is. Okay? So, and then too, when you go to the Census Bureau, when you have Census Bureau, check the boxes that you're mixed with. You have every right to do that. I feel like Fred Douglass, who also was mixed race, doing this Emancipation Proclamation on his own when I'm saying this, okay, or a male version of Harriet Tubman when I talk about this. You have a right to check more than one box. You have a right to check two races or more boxes. So don't feel hesitant, don't be scared. And if anybody gives you problems, you have a right to report them. You have to get your lawyer involved so they can get them out of power. Okay? You got a right to do this. Okay? So that's my message to y'all. You Google multiracial movement, get involved in it, get active in organizations. And if you don't have organizations, there are those who will give you problems because you're a multiracial mixed person and you don't look the part, but they won't think it's a mix. You can create your own multiracial movement, and you can kick those out who does not go along with the ideology of mixed race means two races or more of ancestors. If you don't believe me, look it up on Wikipedia. I'll put the Wikipedia definition on there. Multiracial American means a person with two races or more of ancestors. They even have Martin King on there, which is I already know he's mixed. Okay, so they had Malcolm X there too. He's a black nationalist. He's mixed too. Okay, so and Beyonce and all them. But still, we are racially mixed people. It's 2015. We stop letting these people tell us what to do. They don't have no right to tell us how to live our lives or how to identify. And you need to get involved in individual rights. Remember, civil rights involves individual rights. Stop being collective. Well, we can work collectively as together as a group, but the collectivism of trying to tell somebody how to live their life and all that stuff and run it off on life because like a slave myth, that's collectivism slavery. Okay, so y'all know that I'm an individual person. So we need to come together and start fighting for our rights in America. If we get mistreated, if we get told that we cannot identify as two races or more, we have a right to get our lawyers and sue the heck out of those agencies or corporations who do not allow us to identify who we really are. Okay, that's my message right there. Thank you. God bless y'all for listening to this video, and I hope you take notes of this. And I will put the links of Multiracial American from the Wikipedia to let you know where I'm coming from. It also say two races or more makes you of ancestors makes you a mixed race person. No matter what you look like, dark skin, light skin, look Asian, look white, look Hispanic, look whatever, look black, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Hair kinky, curly, whatever. That's not matter. You're racially mixed. Also too, I want to put down the bill of rights excuse me, bill of rights for racially mixed people, and that's us. And I read this on here, and you can also look for Dr. Maria P. Root and give her thanks for writing this poem. It's a beautiful poem. Okay, all right, and okay, so I will go ahead and give you the link, and so thank you for listening. What I have to say. Bye bye. Have a nice day.